For this episode, I have got to talk about the opening sequence, which was absolutely phenomenal. It was one of those sequences where your heart was just like. So it opens up with people running through a forest. You hear like trees rustling, grass like flickering, and instantly I'm thinking, shizzled, it's Arya Stark running for her life because somebody's after her. Fortunately, it's not Arya Stark running for her life, but actually it's crazy bastard. That's what I'm gonna have to call him for this season. Crazy bastard, aka Ramsay Snow. So Ramsay Snow has created this weird Hunger Games type of adventure for himself in the forest. I don't know what his deal is. Clearly he's got a couple of problems up here, psychologically damaged. I don't like to say that about people, but I think with him it really is the right way to describe him. As I said before, I feel like I'm watching the Hunger Games. This guy is running after this poor defenseless girl. She's screaming and she's shouting and she's trying to hide from him, and at the same time he's got dogs after her. He has a little weird psychic girl who at first I thought it was like his sister, but then they seem to have a little bit of sexual banter going on, and I was a bit confused. Is this another Cersei, Jaime situation with their brother and sister, but at the same time they're, doing the nasty? Their relationship, the few seconds you see between them, the interactions, it just certainly ain't right. So you finally see Ramsay catch up to this girl. He's mentally and has clearly physically tortured her for I don't know how long it's been. I think this is like a little hobby. It's very clear he's got some daddy issues, not in a rude way. Who doesn't? Get over it. Go have fornications with random people, or drink, or party, go crazy. There's no need to be capturing people and torturing people to try and get over your daddy issues. Anyway, moving on. So he finally catches up to this poor innocent girl. He lets the dogs, eat her up and shred her to pieces. And this whole time, Theon Greyjoy is like in the corner, looking all crazy, just not all there. But at the same time, you could tell he's there because he's like doing a little rocking back and forthness, and he's doing a whole little like, which basically shows me that he clearly did not like watching the girl being, mutilated. But at the same time, he knows not to say anything because that could be him in a heartbeat. He is a dishevelled mofo at the moment. So we've established that crazy bastard is crazy and a bastard and needs to go to therapy, whatever the hell these people do back in the day to sort out their problems. Moving on swiftly. One of my favourite moments of this episode is the cute little brother moment that you see between Tyrion and Jaime. Tyrion doesn't really have many allies in his family, but it seems like Jaime has always not only respected him but looked out for him. Jaime's having problems with his hand, and Tyrion is, I think this is a rare occasion where Tyrion is able to help his brother rather than it being the other way round. Jaime is saying how he needs help becoming the best swordsman like in the King's Guard. Tyrion is like, I know the perfect person, aka Bronn. So it skips to Jaime and Bronn having their little sword session. Instantly Jaime is like, okay, is it safe to be doing this around here? Who will hear us, who will see us? Bronn comes out with like the perfect little quip saying how, that random guy with that type of banner, I fuck his wife here. Oh, am I allowed to say fuck? Bronn is basically like, well, if nobody hears her moans and groans, nobody's going to hear you. I had a little giggle about that. I really find Bronn truly, because obviously Game of Thrones has a lot of heavy oofness, so having a bit of a lighter feel to it every now and again is very, very needed. It goes back to Crazy Bastard, and he finally meets up with his dad. Can't remember his name. I'm going to call him Mr. Bolton. And Mr. Bolton is basically like, Ramsay, what have you been up to? And Ramsay brings in Theon, and he doesn't even call him Theon. He calls him by some crazy weird name. Ramsay like walks into the room, sits down. He's like, Thing, shave me. I need a shave. So Theon is shaving him, and he's like, Thing, tell me where Rickon and Bran Stark is. So Theon obviously reveals that he didn't kill Bran and Rickon. It was two other random people that he burnt to a crisp. It's one of the reasons why I just Theon Greyjoy disgusted me. But even I don't think he deserves what he's getting now. The whole burning of poor innocent children and hanging them. Actually, no, Theon deserves this. What am I talking about? As I'm saying this, I'm realising how effed up Theon Greyjoy is and how he deserves, this is just desserts, basically. Theon Greyjoy exposes the fact that he never killed the two remaining Starks, and Ramsay's like, the Starks always ruled Winterfell, Daddy, and Starks always ruled the North. For you to rule the North, you need to kill all types of Starks. And then he mentions how Jon Snow is a Stark, finish him off as well. Hold up now, mofo, you're getting too ahead of yourselves. I'm not gonna lie, killing off Bran and Rickon, bad, but okay, whatever. Killing on Jon Snow, this is when I need to interfere and be like, slow your roll, know your place. You're a bastard, he's a bastard. You guys should be joining together. Snow should stick together, not be killing each other off. I'm going to watch this crazy bastard. You're going to have to watch this season because he's going to be creating problems, but also going to be delicious entertainment to watch. Just saying the truth. Okay, so it goes on to another very interesting part of the episode. Joffrey is sitting at this table and he's getting gifts because it's his wedding day. One of the gifts, he gets given a random cup, and then he gets given a book by Tyrion. Instantly, as Tyrion comes up, the, music, lighting, mood of the general scene, you could tell that something's about to happen. Tyrion's like, oh, reading is knowledge. The ignorant fool of a king, I don't even want to call him king, Joffrey, is looking at the book like, what am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to read it? Do I even know how to read? He's looking at the book. Oh, thank you, uncle. This is very nice. With his snooty looks and his stupid crown, which is way too big for his head. Then his granddad gives him a sword. He's like, oh, thanks, granddad. Next thing you know, this crazy mofo, Joffrey, is cutting up the book with the sword that he's just been given, and basically like, oh, that reminds me of cutting off Eddard Stark's head. Sansa is sitting a couple of chairs next to him, and her face when she mentions the death of her father, I'm not gonna lie, I think that's the first time I have genuinely felt bad for Sansa. She wants to rip Joffrey a new one, but she knows she can't. She knows she'll be killed right there and then. But to bring up Eddard Stark again is so distasteful. It's just so him. It's so grotesque and rude and snobby and arrogant. First of all, mofo, you did not actually put the sword down on Eddard Stark. You just made the order. And can I just say, making that order created a whole crazy ass war. So why are you clapping your hands to that? Yeah, you think the war is over, but at the end of the day, your stupid ass actions started it. So you best recognise, Joffrey. He really is the son of Cersei. But not the son of Robert. Side note, that's probably why he's so effed up, because he is, the making of brother and sister. Anyway, moving on. Shay, that's her name, comes to serve some food at the table. Cersei whispers in her dad's ear, oh, that's the hoe that Tyrion's getting with. And instantly you could tell that Tyrion's like, shit, I'm going to have to sort this out. Goes to one of the saddest moments of this whole episode where basically Tyrion pushes Shay away and is like, you have to go. She cries, and it's absolutely heart-wrenching to see Tyrion once again push away somebody that he loves just because his family is crazy and his bitch sister is going to have her hung and killed and quartered and whatever the hell they do back in those days. So he gets Shay taken away by boat to some other random place. Then it goes to another crazy witch up in here. The crazy red witch is like burning people at the stake. I'm sorry, is this like the Salem witch trials? What's going on here? This bitch, witch, crazy mofo thinks burning people is sacrificing people to her red god. Why are women in Game of Thrones shown as so crazy? And I actually understand now why guys don't want to marry and cheat on their wives, because it seems like their wives in Game of Thrones are just bonkers, are just stark mad. You have Cersei, oh my gosh, crazy witch, oh my gosh, and then Stannis Baratheon's crazy wife, who, by the way, one of the people that they burnt alive was Stannis Baratheon's brother-in-law, obviously his wife's brother, and she's just standing there like, yay, brothers die, brother die, brother burn. And you're thinking, you really need to sort out your shizzle and your priorities. It skips to Bran, and he is doing his little psychic thing where he's channeling it or being in Summer, and Summer's hunting and getting a kill, and his Bran's friends wake him up. It's like, oh, it's really bad that you're always in Summer, you don't want to get trapped in the body. And Bran is like, oh, you don't understand. He touches this tree with a weird little face carved into it. He has like a little premonition, and Bran's like, I know where we need to go. And I'm like, I don't care. Once again, I don't know, I just find Bran so uninteresting. Maybe, I know that there's like 8 9 books. Maybe he gets more interesting, or maybe gets killed off, I don't know. But at the moment, once again, I'm uninterested by the events occurring around Bran. I think the most interesting part of it is Hodor, his moment of Hodor. Moving on to the best part of the whole episode, the purple wedding. That's what people are calling it. Hashtag purple wedding. I don't really do hashtags and whatnot, but this has to be done. One of the main things in this wedding is Joffrey acting up differently. He is one of the most foolish, immature, disgusting, grotesque human fictional characters ever to be created. Joffrey is truly, he shows his disgraceful colours once again in this scene. This fool that I'm calling we like I'm in the Game of Thrones world. So yeah, I'm going to go with one of the main ways that he acts out, which is just disgraceful and nobody is laughing. First of all, he once again references Eddard Stark's awful death by having these people, I'm going to say, I don't know what the correct term for it. I think the dwarves, is that the correct term for short people? He gets dwarves to act out basically the battle that has just occurred in season 3. And obviously he pushes Tyrion, and Tyrion mentions how when the war came, he ran away with his tail in between his legs. Obviously Joffrey doesn't like the little, big put down that his uncle just made to him, even though it's completely necessary. And even though I always say, when you poke a lion, don't be shocked when it bites your hand off. And that is what, Tyrion did. He was provoked. He reacted back in a very classy, beautiful way, as Tyrion always does. For, Tyrion's act of disobedience, I don't think it's disobedience, I think it's standing up for yourself. Joffrey makes him serve him wine for the rest of the wedding. It's awful, it's cringing, nobody is laughing, and there's a moment, this is another beautiful moment, there's a cut to Cersei's face, a cut to Viserys' face, whatever his name is. There's a cut to Jaime's face, there's a cut to Sansa's face, there's a cut to Tyrion's face, Marjorie's face, and nobody is happy. And everybody is looking at Joffrey like, what a prick, what an idiot, what a foolish little child. Who on earth thinks that this guy has sense? Nobody. That's what that little camera bit proved. But I have to jump basically to the best part of the whole episode. The death of Joffrey Baratheon. Or should I say, Joffrey Lannister. You see how no tears were really shed for him? Let me rewind. Marjorie does her beautiful thing of, distracting the king's stupidness by bringing out the wedding cake. He's eating it. He gets Tyrion to, bring him another glass of wine. And instantly you're thinking, mofo, I hope you choke on it. Next thing you know, Joffrey is like killed on the floor, like shaking, blood like flying off his face, his eyes doing this crazy, like he has blue piercing eyes, and there's like suddenly becoming more and more bloodshot, and his blue eyes are becoming more and more blue and scary and ghost like, and he can't talk, and he's like pointing towards Tyrion, and he's like, and Tyrion is just picking up the wine, and obviously Tyrion is clocking, shit, it was the wine that was poisoned. And then Cersei's like, he killed my son, he killed my son. And then the guards, grab Tyrion. Not gonna lie, Tyrion is in his well right to kill his stupid ass nephew after all the shizzle he's pulled, but I do not believe it's him. I wouldn't even put it past Cersei to poison her own son so she can somehow become queen of King's Landing. I was very, very happy to see Joffrey die a painful, awful, gruesome death, but at the same time I was like, who am I going to love to hate? But then I realised, hold on, I have Cersei, I have Crazy Bastard, aka Ramsay Snow. In Game of Thrones there will always be people that you love to hate. You will rarely see the bad people get their just desserts, but at the end of the day everybody's bare haps this mofo is dead. And also in the craziness of Joffrey collapsing and basically dying, Sansa makes her escape. Your secret, like, woo! Incredible episode, beautifully shot. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and bye.